Stu B, whose district is directly in the path of the hurricane. You, Congressman, have not evacuated. Tell us an update from Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, we're sticking it out. Here's the biggest challenge on the ground. My district is still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Siesta Key, Lombo Key, Casey Key, Minnesota Key, Lido Key, all were flooded if they were like in the first level. Houses that were built in the last 10 years that were up did okay. But there is literally drywall, appliances, carpets, and crap all over Siesta Key and my barrier island communities that they're rapidly trying to get up off the ground. But these things are going to turn into projectiles if we're not able to get it all up. So that is issue, like that is the focus. Like my waste management right now, our Sarasota pickup, they're not even picking up in the county. Every single waste management truck and grappling truck and everything are on the Keys right now, trying to pick up all this stuff before the storm hits, because we're looking at 140, 150 mile an hour winds. You're going to have microwaves and appliances are going to turn into projectiles. The storm surge is going to come in and pick up all of this crap and then go right back out in the ocean. You're going to have drywall everywhere. You're going to have carpet everywhere. So that is the biggest challenge right now, is we are still recovering from Hurricane Helene on the barrier islands. And there is literally stuff everywhere. And that those same houses, those same communities are going to get hit even worse. The storm surge in Helene was 5 to 7 feet. If the eye goes where it currently is going now, we're going to see 10 to 12 foot surge. So that's like the second story. I mean, 10 feet is first level. You go 12 feet, you're into the second story of some of these houses. It's just going to be catastrophic. I don't wish it to go north and then hit Tampa and there's going to be catastrophic storm surge there. But my district is still reeling from Hurricane Helene on the coastline. That is the number one biggest challenge right now.
So this is what many call a once-in-a-generation storm. I'm only a 3-year Florida resident, but everybody who is connected to this state for decades and decades, including all of my neighbors, have left Tampa, Florida. Everybody is saying, get out. Your advice to the people who are in your district, even though you are sticking it out in Sarasota, is to most likely go inland. Or where?
Yeah, but I'm not in the evacuation zone. So in Sarasota County, A, B, and C levels of evacuation have now been ordered. In Charlotte County, I think it's A and B, and in Lee County, definitely A. If you are in one of those areas that are ordered an evacuation, and if you don't know what area you're in, go to your county website. They have it all on a map. You can look very quickly and see if you're in one of these zones. If you are in a zone that your county has ordered an evacuation, you need to get out now. You should have gotten out today, but you got probably until tomorrow morning to get out, but you have to get out. The biggest challenge that I saw with Hurricane Helene is a lot of people stuck it out, especially on the barrier islands, and they literally got stuck in their homes. And now you're forcing the Lombo Key Police Department or Sarasota PD or Sarasota Fire Department to try to come and save you during a storm, and they can't get to you because they just physically can't get to you in 140 mile an hour winds. So if your zone has been ordered evacuated anywhere along western coast of Florida, you need to get out. Tampa Bay, downtown Tampa, coastal communities, you need to get out now. I know the interstate is a mess. You go around my district right now, it's hard to find gas, but you've got to get inland or get out of the state, because you are going to see, at least in my district, likely a 10 to 12 foot storm surge, and that will be catastrophic.
That means homes underwater, does it, Congressman?
Homes underwater, that means, so just talk my district out inside of the barrier islands, inside into Sarasota, like the mainland is going to see flooding all the way in. And that's not including the rain. I mean, you're going to get, we've been very wet here the last couple of weeks. I think we got 5 to 8 inches of rain over the weekend. It rained yesterday, and you're going to now dump another what could be 16 inches of rain on top of that. You're going to see massive flooding. So if you're not, I'm way out east, I'm out in the country, we're high. We're not in an evacuation zone. If I was in an evacuation zone, I would go where it's not an evacuation zone. So I strongly, strongly encourage any Floridian that is in an evacuation zone that has been ordered to leave to please leave, because you will then be a challenge for local law enforcement and rescue people to try to come and get you if something happens.
Yes, especially if you were able-bodied. As soon as we got word from your colleague, Anna Paulina Luna, who's been keeping so many people informed. And if you are following the members of Congress for your area, it's been really important to listen to the wisdom of people who go into the briefings like you do, Congressman. What do the briefings show right now from a state level for the storm?
Well, and that's a great point. If you're in my district, stubbe.house.gov, follow me on Twitter, Rep. Greg Stubbe. Like, we do exactly that. We just put out all the Sarasota County information that they just put out. Tonight in Sarasota County, they're going to shut down all the bridges. The water to Siesta Key and the Barrier Islands has been shut down as of 10 a.m. this morning. All of that type of information is on my Twitter, on our website, all of that. We constantly will retweet all of that so that everybody knows. The latest is it's looking like the eye is going to hit around Bradenton, which will be horrible for my district because we will be south. So we'll be looking at a 10 to 15 foot storm surge. Winds, I think I saw 140, 150 miles an hour. If you're on the coastline, obviously it's going to be worse than whether you're inland. But please just heed local law enforcement, heed local county evacuations. Please don't be one of those people that think you can stick it out. And next thing you know, you're floating in your home and you're calling the sheriff's department to come and save you, and law enforcement is now in danger to come and save you because you didn't evacuate.
Yes. This is such a great point, especially if you're somebody who believes in America first, if you're somebody who believes in the 10th Amendment, if you're somebody who believes in our divine right to make decisions for ourselves, then you've got to make wise decisions when given the opportunity and not depend on the federal government or the state government to come in and save you because you made an unwise decision. Especially if you have children, or again, if you have fuel in your tank and you have legs that can walk, get into that car and get out of those evacuation zones. They've evacuated our entire neighborhood. You do not want to be a drag on services that are desperately needed for those who might not have the capacity to leave as quickly as you, or just speaking for myself, as I did with my kids. And we just went north. We just went north to a friend's house, to a friend's house and staying with friends up north. So this is the best that we can do with our kids. So the question that we have right now is, how do we save more lives? It seems like Governor DeSantis is doing a spectacular job and is, major mobilization. When we were driving north, Congressman, we saw nothing but military vehicles, lineman vehicles, heavy moving equipment going south. What's your best advice for people with the trajectory of the storm as to where to go?
Well, definitely inland, or if you can, like you, get north and get out of the state and out of the path altogether. I had people that were in my district and Hurricane Ian hit and went inland to like Lakeland, Orlando, the middle part of the state, Arcadia, and then Arcadia gets flooded and trees got knocked down. So anywhere in the path of the storm, I think is going to be dangerous. So right now I would head north. If you're in or around my district or anywhere in Southwest Florida or Tampa or below, I know it's going to take time on the interstate, but the best thing is to get out of the path of the storm so that you're safe, especially, again, if you're in those evacuation zones. And I will say that the state is a much more nimbler than the federal government is. The federal government is an atrocity when it comes to these things. They would rather spend money on illegal immigrant, migrant housing than they are on American people. We've seen that with Hurricane Helene. You're going to see this here. The state has done what they can to mobilize things, but we got linemen up in still working in the northern part of the state. They're going to have to come down and mobilize here. So I expect in my part of the state, in Southwest Florida, we're going to be without power for a considerable long period of time. Even if it's a Cat 2 or 3 when it hits, we have been so wet here over the last couple of weeks. The trees are going to fall over and power lines are going to go down. So the other thing that people that are thinking about evacuating need to think about, can you go without power for 2 weeks to maybe a month? Out where I live, we were without power for 9 days when Hurricane Ian hit. I suspect it'll be worse than that because we have linemen all over the place because of Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Helene's response. So I would evacuate if you can evacuate. If you're in a place like where we're at and you got a generator and you can ride it out, then obviously you can do that. But this is one of those storms that I would tell people to follow their local governments, their county's advice. Don't listen to what the federal government is saying. Listen to what your counties are telling you to do. And if you're in an evacuation zone, please get out.
Congressman, so I know your past and your history. I have a feeling you're going to stay in your district, do everything you can to help save lives in your district. we obviously pray for the people in your district as we do in this area. There does seem to be a little bit of a turf war right now with Kamala Harris and Governor DeSantis. This is something that's broken across our social media feeds, where Kamala Harris, who has no role in hurricane preparedness, is now trying to insert herself into this storm and this disaster. I just want to get your take on that.
Yeah, again, it's completely political. The Biden-Harris campaign is completely political and trying to use a tragedy like this and what recently happened with Helene to try to monopolize for political gain. It's kind of disgusting, frankly, that suddenly Kamala Harris is caring about Florida when I don't even think she's been here to campaign. She has zero play whatsoever in what's going on the ground. It is your local counties, your local cities, and certainly your state. So I applaud what Governor DeSantis has been doing. We don't, FEMA doesn't even get involved until later. Like I have counties in my district that still haven't gotten paid for FEMA reimbursement since Hurricane Ian, which was 2 years ago. So you can't be reliant on FEMA and the federal government. And quite frankly, they're more concerned about housing illegal immigrants than they are about the people that have suffered from these hurricanes. So we're in Florida. We're used to this. We do this every year. And unfortunately, we have to deal with this, but we are very nimble at the state level. We are very nimble at the county level. We are all experienced in dealing with these storms. So listen to those people, and those are the people that are going to save lives.
Yeah. Given your past and your record, it probably comes as no shock to you, but I think a great many millions of Americans are pretty disgusted at FEMA and their inability to help people in Appalachia, their inability to help anyone other than a criminal alien in this nation, and to prioritize people who aren't actually Native Americans when they need help. I mean, I thought it was us who funded FEMA for this exact reason, but I guess I must be wrong.
And I hope people remember that when they go to the polls in November. And I hope people that don't typically vote see that and go to the polls to vote for Trump, because he's the only person that can turn this around.
Yes, America. That's what America First is, right? America First means we put Americans first, especially those who are suffering. We pray there is little suffering in your district, but based on the way this is all looking, it looks like it's going to be one hell of a storm. So we'll keep praying. Thank you, Congressman, so much for your time and for your warning. Heed the Congressman's warning. Once again, here's the Congressman Stubbe's social media. So follow him for updates. I know that their team is doing an incredible job of posting updates and up-to-date information. Make sure you're locked in with members of Congress and elected officials who are part of these briefings, who can give you the information fast, quickly, and accurately. Godspeed,
Thanks, Benny.
Congressman.
Stay safe.
You too.